We are now just 95 days away from the official release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and even creator George Lucas. That is all set and ready to end the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's truly exciting about Episode 9 is that yes, we do know that this film is going to be having a lot of connections to the prequels and the originals, as well as borrowing many different elements to Star Wars Legends, or from Star Wars Legends, also known as the Expanded Universe, which by the way is very expansive and has a lot of content in there that Disney and Lucasfilm are going to use for Episode 9 and the way the story is going to be told from start to finish of this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big plans by Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and crew, this is where things begin to get very intense for the final scene of Episode 9. Now, specifically, it's described that during the rewrites of the film for the months of November and December of 2018, just late last year, is when George Lucas was heavily involved with the restructuring of the second and third acts of the film. It's explained that both George Lucas and J.J. Abrams worked very hard on the final scene of the movie that is said to leave fans very amazed on the saga and how it will end. It's explained that a big revelation of Darth Vader's legacy as well as Palpatine's will be the core of the final scene of the movie, and that there will be both closure and some ambiguity to what the future holds for a key character in the film that is said to be associated with the sequel trilogy. It's described that the legacy of Darth Vader was written in such a way for the final scene that it will have a massive effect on how the fans will react to the final minutes of Episode 9. Additionally, it's explained that J.J. Abrams based the ending of the film off of a Star Wars Legends novel and used that as inspiration for where the scene takes place and what it will entail, and that the final scene is said to also introduce a brand new lightsaber design that fans have never seen before on the big screen. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this seems like a very complex scene and a very inspirational scene from what J.J. Abrams is trying to do here. Now, the first thing to note is that Star Wars Legends is going to play a large role in how J.J. Abrams and George came up with the idea for the final minutes of Episode 9. Alright, we're talking about the final frames of this movie just before it cuts the credits. Now, this is also said to include a big revelation related to Palpatine's legacy and Darth Vader's legacy that's going to really inspire a certain character associated with the sequel trilogy. This could very well be either Rey or Kylo Ren for all we know, or maybe even somebody else that's going to come out by surprise. Now, the thing about this is that this is actually said to be a very big scene for the movie that's going to have a massive effect on how the fans are going to react and what's going to actually create a lot of discussions for years on end once this movie finally ends. And to me, I think that that is a very big thing that JJ has to get right. You guys may recall that Kevin Smith, he was talking with the film crew, right? When he was on set over for Star Wars Episode 9, I believe it was over in Cardington, where they told him to not go in there. It's the final scene of the movie. You gotta wait it out and not get spoiled. JJ even said it's gonna be worth to see it in the theaters. However, the crew said it would melt your mind. You guys may recall that we talked about that some time ago, that the final scene of the movie will melt your mind. And you can only imagine what they're going to do with the very end of The Rise of Skywalker and exactly what's going to be done, what's going to be said by some of these characters, and where they're really going to be. Now, the whole Darth Vader and Palpatine legacy thing is a big deal. The fact that there are going to be a lot of revelations associated with those two aspects of the film in the final scene of the movie really opens up a big question. Is there a possibility that they're going to continue the Skywalker saga if they really wanted to? The fact that there's going to be some ambiguity in here, as well as some closure, could really be a way for Disney and Lucasfilm to have some form of insurance if they wanted to go back and recreate the, Skywalker saga, or expand it, I should say. Expand the Skywalker saga. If the new trilogy in the future does not work out, they could always draw back to that. Which, specific sequel trilogy-oriented character are we talking about that's going to be in the final scene of the movie? We're not quite sure. It could be Rey, it could be Kylo Ren. But nonetheless, the legacy of Palpatine and Vader will have a dramatic effect on how this scene is going to play out from start to finish. And that, to me, I think is a very interesting part of the story here. The fact that they really are trying to connect it to the originals and the prequels in such big ways really is a big deal and is a big risk at the same exact time, because it's all a matter of how it's going to be written on the big screen, how it's going to be executed, how fans are going to react to it, how it's going to resonate with people around the world, is really going to determine on whether or not it's going to be a successful ending to, you know, something that's been 40 years in the making. We're talking about the saga that started back in 1977 with Star Wars A New Hope. So they really have to get this right. They really have to satisfy fans in order to really make it stand out as an iconic ending to such a massive saga that has been going on for decades. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night to moon.